This is Gage from Gaming with Gage and Friends. Check us out at gamingwithgage.com. But now, you're listening to Redemption.
This is Redemption, an actual play podcast set in the Star Wars role-playing game system, with Chris Berlew as the GM, and also the droids 11D4 and R3A1.
Why are you staring at Krell's feet?
Andy Fox as the Bothan negotiator, Quinth.
I don't think Karel can see things through her toenails anyway.
Kaylee Jung as the Jedi, Karel.
I didn't even know I owned 12 hammers.
And Michael Waldschlager II as the Duros pilot, Tazi.
So I guess it's time to flip the table. Griff this game.
Episode 808, The Plan. With Quinth's daughter in the hands of the 12th brother, the crew race through hyperspace to her rescue. Plans are hatched and theories are examined, but without knowing the details of where Yarra is being held captive, all they can do is plan for the worst and hope that the Force is with them.
All right, let's roll the destiny pool. One dark side.
One dark side.
2 light side.
1 dark side.
3 dark, 2 light. All right.
Quinth will take out her comm and put it on speaker mode. What's wrong, honey?
He found me.
They who? And Quinth is motioning to the rest of the crew.
I did.
Is that 12th brother?
Mm-hmm.
Quinth reaches into her pocket and takes out the Leiku from the 12th brother.
Karel makes a face that is very, which is really hard to describe on a podcast.
Tazi looks disgusted that was in Quinth's pocket.
And what are you planning to do with Yarra?
Oh, your little spy is not very good at her job. I know you have something I want. I will give you what you want if you give me the fox.
Is that your only demand?
It is simple. I give you your daughter. You give me the fox.
Quinth catches Karel's attention and is doing look at me, I'm looking at you, eye thing.
Karel just gestures at your comm and nods.
I think we can arrange something.
Very well. I suggest we meet on Florum. It is not very far from Felucia.
Karel's eyes get really wide, and she gestures for you to give her the Leiku.
Quinth hands her the Leiku.
Karel runs to the nearest airlock and then cycle it out into space.
Quinth gives a look of angered betrayal.
Karel pantomimes, shows her Leiku, and then does wiggly fingers towards it, and then closes her eyes and puts her fingers to her forehead, and then wiggly fingers towards her Leiku, and uses the Force to kind of float it up, and then points at your comm.
Tazi is exchanging glances with A1 as if Tazi does not understand what is going on.
At that, A1 is gesturing with one of his little hands to the sensors. Over there.
Tazi looks at the sensor panel.
There is a Star Destroyer that was not here before that is now in orbit as you guys are leaving the planet.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Empire Seer Star Destroyer just showed up. We can't stay.
Send the coordinates to my comm and call off your Star Destroyer. We'll be there.
Oh, very well. It knows you're there. It will let you pass.
Is there a time period you would like us to meet during?
I will leave that up to you. How soon would you like your daughter back?
I think we'll head right over there.
Very well.
You hear in the background a loth cat meowing.
Sir,
Sven.
anything else you'd like to discuss?
Is that Sven?
Oh, yes. He was so helpful in me finding you the first time.
Quinth will mouth at Karel. Do loth cats have powers?
Karel looks at you like you're kind of nuts and just leans over to Tazi. Who is Sven?
I don't know. What's a sloth bat?
Oh, okay, then I'm really confused because I don't know what a sloth bat is too.
I don't know either. Isn't that what she said? Sloth bat?
I don't know. We'll have to wait till she gets off the call to figure it out.
All right.
All right, well, I assume when we get there, we will find both my daughter and the loth cat in unharmed condition.
Oh, loth cat. That makes a lot more sense. Who would name their cat loth cat Sven? That's weird.
Don named the cat Sven.
Yes, they are both fine.
Is there perhaps anyone else you're hiding as a surprise for us?
I have spies everywhere.
That wasn't creepy at all.
Why does he want you, Corral?
Jedi? We're hunted. It's kind of their whole,
Oh,
reason for being. He doesn't know who I am. He just knows the person. And, well,
all right.
we've been using that persona to generate an upswelling of anti-Empire sentiment.
So you were just talking to the 12th brother?
Yeah. I understand why he has Sven, but I don't understand why he has Yarra.
Leverage.
She certainly isn't my spy, but I suppose everyone in Spynet belongs to each other in a way.
A1, can we, for future calls to Quinth's comm, can we patch that through the ship systems and scramble the location? So perhaps it will mask the location of the comm?
Sure. But whoever routed that call to her comm isn't that far. That's her short-range comm.
How far away is this Florum place?
It's not far.
I was just going to ask if any of us were familiar with Florum.
Rolling out a rim check, please. Make it an average check.
Well, I don't expect I'm going to get a good result on this.
Me neither, but I'll try.
1 success and a threat.
2 successes and a threat. All right.
I know 2 truths and a lie.
It's 1 success and 1 triumph.
All right. Florum, what you guys know is it's a sulfurous desert planet, maybe a sector away. Quinth, you would know during the Clone Wars, there was a group of pirates that used Florum as their headquarters, and at one point it was held by the Confederacy of Independent Systems until Ahsoka Tano freedom.
Florum, desert planet, Confederacy. I don't know if it's in. I don't know who holds it now, but I mean.
A1, how far away are we?
Not very far at all. We could get there in a couple hours.
Is that enough time for us to think of a plan?
It's going to have to be.
All right. What's our plan?
Well, we're not moving yet. We should get out from underneath that Star Destroyer where the call was probably routed from.
A1 says, yeah, it's just there. It's the Avenger Star Destroyer. It's called the Avenger. Trying to intimidate us, I guess. I don't know what it's avenging, but it's there. It's not really doing anything, just kind of sitting there watching us.
I mean, wouldn't that be a better name for our ships? We're going to avenge, killing all these people. I mean, what are they? Yeah, what are they?
Our ship has a name.
No. I meant like if we had a Star Destroyer, we'd call it the. Can we go to hyperspace?
Yes.
So I'm not. Tazi, can you push the button?
Yes, I will push the lever. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, pushing the lever.
All right. Now that we're in hyperspace, what's our plan?
Well, we know this is a trap. Obviously, he's after me, and he knows.
Yes.
He knows what I can do. So we need to come up with a way to. And I'm really sorry for this one, and I truly apologize. We need to come out with a way to outfox him.
I agree with you, and I'm ignoring the pun.
As you should.
Is there a way to somehow project? Because you can tell. They can tell, like, when other Force users are around, right?
It's a pretty common skill. Yes.
Yeah. Is there a way to project? And I'm sorry about this, but to project your powers maybe onto Tazi?
No.
Or because he'll be expecting me. There's not?
No.
Like to spoof a Force signature? I guess Corell. I don't know, but I don't think so.
Not really. No. I mean,
if we can spring the trap and get him to show his hand, and then have you and the droids waiting and wait, we would maybe have a pretty good chance.
I would wager that if he's been spying on you and he knows how to get a hold of your comm code, and I believe you said you've interacted with him in the past, he's pretty familiar with with your tactics and who is here. He's going to be expecting what we have.
I don't know if he knows our tactics. He ignored us when he went after Rith. That's how he got my comm code, is he took Rith's communicator. Or found a way to make it look like the call was coming from Rith, because of course I would pick it up, because who would have a dead Bothan's communicator?
A bad guy?
Yeah.
How did he know we were here?
My theory is that piece of the Leku that that Quinth was carrying around used to be part of him. He probably could sense it through the Force. There's a science behind it. It's called psychometry. It's not a very common Force ability. I don't have it, but it's not unheard of.
I've never heard of that. Otherwise, I would have gotten rid of it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so how did he know we found you?
He may not. We may have tipped our hand when we said we'll be right there. He may not have known that we had the Fox on board. He probably knew that we were looking for the Fox on Tula.
Or someone inside the organization on Tula gave us up. He did say he has spies everywhere.
So who on Tula gave us up? And we only talked to the lady at the candy store and...
Crook.
Who else? Crook? Yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Well, no, there was a bunch of people on Tula that we talked to that were working with the organization that we were trying to assist. They could have had a plant there. I mean,
oh yeah,
it was only more than a few beings saw us on Tula.
But how many of them saw us with Corel?
He may not know, or he may know. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter, I think, right now, how he found out. The point is that he knows. So all we need to do moving forward is just try to make sure that we're limiting the amount of information or people that we're interacting with, right? We try to bottleneck the information.
I think that's a good thing going forward, but our biggest problem right now is we're going into a confrontation where he holds most of the cards.
So I guess it's time to flip the table. Griff this game.
What are you suggesting?
We need to save your kid, clearly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end goal here is we want to save the kid, and then, of course, whatever happens to the 12th brother is certainly up to you, Quinth. What do you want to do with the 12th brother?
Destroy him.
The word is given.
I can't lose someone else.
Well, you're not going to. We're going to get your daughter, and then we will go for noodles. I haven't had noodles in a year and a half. I'm sure there's some place that has a noodle stand that we can go to.
Tazi will stand up from the pilot's chair and walk over to Quinth and just kind of put his hand on her arm and hand on her shoulder.
Quinth will look up with him. Her eyes are super wide, the way they get when you're trying not to cry.
You're not going to lose anybody else. Not today.
Well, that includes all of you, all right? So no fancy suicide moves, all right?
I'm not going to make any promises, but I did say you're not going to lose anybody else, so I guess I did make a promise. So that being said, within the bounds of that promise, I'm not going to make any more promises.
Do you promise?
Corel?
Sorry, just trying to, tension breaker type thing. I'm not very good at it. Ko was much better at that. Maybe it was the accent.
I don't even know where that accent came from. No other Nautiloans I know talk that way.
Oh, he was a Nautilan. Oh, I've dated a couple of those.
Just a couple.
Most of them have very southwestern accent. Like a coastal accent. And somehow he ended up with a very weird imperial dialect. I don't know. I really don't know how he got it.
Well, no one's saying you can't end up with an accent that isn't from where you are.
Oh, no, trust me, Quinth. We've heard the bevy of accents that you can produce. I trust that Spynet is the thing for that.
Yeah. And I'm not even in the top 10% of spies at Spynet, so there are some who can really, really talk anyway.
So, the plan is, we save your kid, we destroy the 12th brother, and again, per my promise, we don't lose anybody else. So, let's work within those bounds, and let's figure something out.
Are we just gonna go into the trap and assume we can fight our way out?
Well, we know it's a trap, right? So
Yes, but we've seen him both with and without lackeys, various troopers. He could have a huge force with him.
we have a huge force with us. A huge force user with us, right, Krell?
I mean, we can start with that, but I think I'm going to go talk to D4. He may have some insight into these Inquisitors that I don't. And Corell heads off towards the medbay.
Quinth has been slumped a little bit, and when you say that, she kind of straightens up, and her ears, which were kind of flopped over, perk back up. Oh yeah, he would know. All right, Tazi, can you get us underway?
Well, I mean, we're in hyperspace, so we're underway. But I'm gonna hang out up here in the cockpit.
Okay.
I think you guys go talk to D4. I'll make sure everything's copacetic up here in the cockpit area.
I guess a copacetic cockpit is always a good thing.
I'm gonna sit up here and oil my pistol.
As Quinth walks out, A1 looks over at Tazi. So you mean normal piloting things as if you're gonna take a nap and you want me to wake you up when we get there?
No, we need to figure out how we're gonna kill the 12th brother.
Okay. What do you suggest?
He's a force user.
Yep.
We've dealt with a few of those.
Yep.
We know I can't shoot him in the chest.
That's true.
I do like this gun. I don't want to lose it.
Yep. I think that's the one Corell got you.
Yeah. This is the one Corell got me.
I mean, we could shoot him a lot.
I mean, shooting him a lot might help, but I think if we're gonna shoot him, we're gonna need to use heavier guns than what we can carry. Ship armaments, perhaps. Remote piloting. Maybe we'll try that trick we tried with Rafe.
Yeah, I can pilot. I've been doing that a lot while the Fox does the Fox things.
Okay, I have maybe this, and this is good. This is a big ask, so I'm just gonna put this out here. Ship A1, what if you pilot, and A1, what if you take over the weapon systems? The two of you working in concert.
Yeah.
Kralit's Fang would probably be the deadliest it's ever been.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay, you guys can't. We gotta figure something else out here to distinguish the two of you. Like, I don't know if you need to give somebody an accent, a strange dialect. This is a little weird. It's a little off-putting, I gotta say. But I'm glad you two can work together. I just don't know that we have enough firepower to take out the 12th brother without the ship.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to say this in front of the others, but remember the last times we've seen him, he's had those guys in the black armor with the red highlights with him. I don't know if they go wherever he goes or not, so it may be more than just him.
Just done.
And he also had those other two that were on stage that were, with Master Rays.
Were they also, were those two also Inquisitors?
I think so.
Great.
So it
Griff.
could be a really bad thing.
Maybe Corell and Quinth can get something out of D4.
And with that, we cut over to Corell walking into D4 and then Quinth walking in just a few seconds later. D4 looks as you walk in. How may I be of service?
D4, it looks like we're going into a pretty nasty situation, and I'm hoping there's something in your memory banks that might give us a little bit of an edge. The Inquisitor, the 12th brother, has Quinth's daughter. We're going to go rescue her. It's obviously a trap. They asked for me. I'm supposed to be turned over in exchange. Obviously, we're not doing that part. We're going to get her free. But what do you know about the Inquisitorium? Do they have any weaknesses other than big honkin' egos?
The Inquisitors were formed after Master Plagueis was overthrown by the current Darth Sidious. I am not familiar with their function other than what you can find on the HoloNet. I do remember our encounter with him. It does look as though he has the ability to immobilize an opponent using the Force.
Okay.
I would assume that he is skilled with lightsaber, melee combat, brawling techniques, highly resilient. The Sith training is very brutal. There is lots of punishment for failure and lots of punishment for success, as well as other rewards.
Quinth looks at D4. Did you say punishment for success?
Well, yes. The dark side is all about anger and your emotions. If you can keep the anger high in your apprentice, you will keep the dark side flowing through them. If you allow them moments of peace and joy, they lose their intensity and their anger diminishes.
That just sounds like growing up in a really abusive environment.
That's pretty accurate.
Keeping your fight or flight going all the time.
One is always trying to overthrow the other one, and the other one is always trying to stay one step ahead of their apprentice.
Then why have apprentices? You know what? No, this is... Focusing now.
D4, so one thing that I was wondering, because again, the dark side of the Force, the Force users tap into their rage and their emotions. Do you have any sort of chemical we could use that would possibly mellow them out?
I am sure I could come up with a sedative. How effective it will be, it could be that they have some sort of resistance to that type of chemical effects. They do train themselves mentally and physically to resist different environmental and chemical conditions. But it is something we could try.
I'm just thinking that any edge we can get here is probably a good thing to pursue.
Very well. I could work on a concoction.
Yes, if I can distract him long enough that perhaps you could, even if you could sedate him somehow, that even if it slows him down a little bit, that would be helpful.
That would be helpful if we could have perhaps A1 engineer a device that could fire a tranquilizer dart. Therefore, nobody has to be in direct contact with this Inquisitor.
I like that idea.
Just remember, blocking a projectile is child's play. I mean, literally, we teach Jedi younglings how to deflect blaster bolts.
That is a good point, but I would also point out that Quinth, Tazi, and A1 will not last long against the Inquisitor if they are close, nor will I.
Well, that's why I am going to attempt to distract him, so you can possibly get in a cheap shot.
That is something we could try, yes?
I've done some cheap tricks before. I don't mind doing them now.
Or if it's something you can aerosolize, but I would need to, you'd have to give me, the antidote beforehand.
And then we could spray it like a perfume and have him walk into it.
If I had an ampule of it, I could just shatter it at his feet.
Or even if he breaks it with his lightsaber, it would release.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so smart!
I have moments like that. And I think we could do a double threat there. I'm sure A1 and I can come up with some sort of delivery system, something Tazi can shoot.
Yeah, and it's so good if we look like we're trying really hard to get this thing in, and then he easily blocks it with his lightsaber, but then it breaks open. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, so
but it won't work on stormtroopers or whatever those things are that he has. Death troopers? I don't know.
Stormtroopers have filtration units in their masks, so probably not.
Yeah.
If they are like that. So, anyway. D4, I will leave you to that. I'll go check with A1. I also need to have a talk with him. If he's coming with us, I may need a favor out of him.
Very well.
And Corell heads back to the bridge.
D4 looks over at Quinth.
How are you feeling?
Quinth starts to say a few things and make gestures with her hands and then stops, thinks, starts again, stops and thinks. I'm not sure. I feel bad, but I also feel nothing and anxious.
Understandable. This 12th brother, you called him?
Yeah.
Where are we meeting him?
Florum.
Interesting.
I'm not sure I can do this, D4.
What concerns you?
My adrenaline at this point is dropping. And by the time we get there, I don't know if I will have recovered enough to truly start pumping all of those chemicals back into my own body. And then I'm not going to be as effective.
Are you worried that emotionally you will not be able to get where you need to be? Or that
physically?
I could give you a hypo spray that would inject you with adrenaline and other chemicals that would enhance your abilities to fight.
Yes. Just as a backup, though. And D4, if things go south, I want you to grab Yarra and call A1 and get out of there.
Very well.
And anybody else you can, obviously, but
He walks over and puts 2 hands on Quinth's shoulders and the other 2 hands on her elbows and squeezes.
I will not fail you.
Thanks. She'll give D4 a pat on one of the 4 arms and then head out.
D4 turns around and starts working with different chemicals and stim packs and other things.
So Quinth walks through sort of the main area. Is Corell there?
She went to the bridge.
Okay, then she will head to the bridge.
As Quinth walks away, we'll cut back up to the cockpit. Corell, you walk in, there's Tazi and...
All right, so let's see. There's plenty of places on this planet we could possibly be rendezvousing. Did they give us coordinates yet?
No, Quinth didn't give me any coordinates.
Oh, hey, Corell. So we were talking while you guys were chatting with D4. We're pretty sure we don't have the firepower to handle the 12th brother person to person, per se. Granted, you're very good, and of course you and the 12th brother could possibly duel, and you could end the 12th brother. But if we want to, if we want to really, end this, we might need the ship's armaments.
I mean, if he does the rendezvous in an outdoor location, then yeah, that would be a good idea. And Corell looks up towards the ceiling. A1, are you okay with this plan?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you two have already talked. Okay, I'm a little bit behind on this one.
No, that's okay. So the plan is that ship A1, your A1, the ship A1 will pilot, and our droid A1, original A1, will man the weapons.
Okay, I mean, that sounds very good. Okay, I will have to rethink a little bit of my own battle plan, but that's perfectly understandable.
Well, if you have a plan already, this is just something we were kind of just, kicking around up here.
No, I was just thinking that if he's going to be expecting me, and I was going to, you know what? I bet you D4 will be there. I could just use D4. That would work just as well. Okay, not a problem. I'll go talk to D4 again. So I'll be back in a minute. And Corell turns around and almost runs into Quinth.
Whoa.
Oh, hey. Sorry.
Hey, just a second, Corell. And Quinth kind of looks around the cockpit at everybody. I just told D4 something that you may want to counter. And that's perfectly fine.
What?
I told him that if things were going really, really badly, to grab Yarra and run and get on the ship and go. I realized that was a really selfish thing of me to say to D4, and but I also was taught to have an ultimate backup plan.
No, that makes sense.
So if you want me to go back and tell D4 something else, I will, because I don't want to assume that anyone else here is willing.
Well, I mean, just to be technical, A1 will also be on the ship. So technically A1 outranks D4. So it would be up to A1 to take off with the ship if D4 comes back with Yarra and nobody else. Just again, I don't, I'm okay with this plan. I understand where you're coming from. If the rest of us don't make it and Yarra can get out alive and D4 can make that happen, A1, are you okay with that plan?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, Tazi, make a perception check.
All right, great.
2 red, a purple.
Oh, that's a despair.
Oh,
But with the despair, I have 1 success and 1 advantage.
Is Tazi standing up or is he sitting down?
Tazi, at this point, is probably standing and leaning over the sensors.
Okay. After Tazi makes the little statement to A1, you slip in a little bit of oil that is underneath A1's foot, and you bang your head into the sensor panel.
Oh,
Oh!
And with the advantage,
Oh.
you can do whatever you want with the knowledge. You didn't like scream out.
Tazi immediately gets on the comm.
D4, help, cockpit. Oh.
Krill helps Tazi into the seat.
Why is there oil on the floor, A1?
I don't know. Ask Corell. It's her ship.
It's Tazi's ship.
If I'd been here, it'd be spotless.
That looks like droid oil to me, but I don't actually know.
Clearly, there's a hydraulic leak from one of the chairs. We'll check it out. Ugh. Man, that killed. Ugh. Jeez. A1 Corral, can we work on moving the transponder? Maybe out from under the console right there, in case I slip again in the future. Ugh.
Well, I mean, why would we need to move the transponder? Tazi, move your hand. I can't see if you're bleeding or not.
No, I'm fine. I'm sure I'm fine. It's nothing.
And then Tazi moves his hand.
You got a knot forming.
Okay, you're not bleeding. If D4 hasn't gotten here yet, Corral's going to make a medicine check on Tazi.
Okay. I mean, you can. It's an average check.
Well, she's an average medic, so that's kind of fine. I learn absolutely nothing. No successes, no failures, no threats, no advantages.
Am I gonna live, Doc?
Well, you have 2 eyes, and they're not bloodshot, so I think I'm a little worried.
I've been cutting back on the golden pod racers. It's mostly from a budget perspective, but there's been some health benefits too.
Well, I can tell. I think you're going to be okay, but we should definitely have D4 look at you.
And Tazi was like poking the spot on his forehead.
Stop it.
D4 walks up, looks at it, pokes his finger at it a little bit.
It looks as though you have a mild contusion.
Wait, what'd you call
Follow my
that?
finger. Follow my finger.
Yep.
No concussion.
There.
You are fine.
Okay. Would you say that that's a knot?
Yes. Put some ice on it. Take a few aspirin.
And call you in the morning?
You, let me just say you better not mention it again, okay?
I see what you did there.
Ow.
D4 looks at A1 and goes,
Tee-hee?
and then turns and walks out.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, we were just talking. So if something bad were to happen to everybody on the ship, which is certainly a possibility, and D4 is able to escape with your daughter, then A1 will make sure that they escape in the Kral's Fang.
Yes. Thank you.
Right, A1?
Sure.
Yep.
Is that more oil?
Nope.
Okay,
We got to clean this up. I'm not going to slip again. So let's just take a break for a secing. We still got some time. I'm gonna go grab some cleaner.
I'm going to go talk to D4.
A1, will you help me with this co-pilot's chair? I think that's where the leak is coming from.
Yeah, okay.
Quinth has a panicked look on her face, like, don't leave me alone with my thoughts.
Quinth, you okay?
What can I do?
I'll tell you what, go into the maintenance bay, see if we have any of the grease and oil remover.
Yes.
We're gonna need a bunch of rags, and we'll need probably A1, what do you say? We probably need like 2 of the socket sets in there. And at least one spanner.
Okay.
Yep.
And Quinth will leave.
A few seconds after Quinth walks out, Tazi looks to A1.
You are gonna leave with them if we're all dead.
Okay.
This is me asking you as a friend. I know you're gonna want to stay. I know you're gonna want to do whatever you want to do to try and make sure everything's gonna work. But if Corell and myself and Quinth do not make it, and that kid survives, you got to get that kid out of here. Promise me.
Only if you're dead.
Even if they take me alive, you got to get that kid out of here. Promise me, A1.
Fine.
All right. Now let's pretend the chair was broken so we can just put this behind us, okay?
Okay.
Let's start taking it apart, and when Quinth gets back with the tools, we'll pretend we fixed it, okay?
Got it. Will do.
Thanks, little buddy.
A few minutes later, Quinth comes back in, carrying just an armload of tools and spanners and screwdrivers and hammers and things that you would never use to fix a chair, and a few that you would. Drops them all down and droid A1 is kind of leading Quinth through how to help him.
She's like nodding and like handing him different tools, and he's like making them spark, but they don't actually do anything.
A1 leans over to Quinth. So, since you are a spy, how do we catch the spy that's been spying on us?
We don't know if the spy is among us.
So first we have to find where the spy is. Then we can find who the spy is? Or do we have to find out who the spy is and figure out where they are?
I feel like the 12th brother said he has spies everywhere. I can't imagine that he has a spy on this ship, though.
So how does he know where we are?
That was the Laiku. There was Force nonsense happening. Force nonsense.
A1 kind of leans his dome back away from Quinth a little bit. Maybe someday I'll understand the Force, because that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Piece of Aleku can't talk, so how could it tell him anything? Sven's a cat, so it's not like Sven could tell him anything.
Do you think he talks to animals?
Can they do that?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know either, because I'm also right here. You could have included me in this conversation. You know that, right? We're all fixing the chair together.
Wait, were you spying on our conversation?
No, I was literally present while you were having it. You just forgot I was here.
How do we know this is the real Tazi?
you haven't been drinking your golden pod racers.
Yeah, because we've been broke. We've been broke, and yeah, golden pod racers are not free. They cost credits.
Oh, that's true. And now that Corell's back, we can't go steal them.
Oh, yeah, we can. We just don't tell her. If I had arms, I'd steal a lot of things.
It's good to know some things never change.
And please don't be mad at me for suggesting this. I am just trying to cover all of our options and thoughts, and I'm just going to say something out loud. And is there any chance Corell has gone to the dark side?
I mean, she did have moments of anger.
Not that I've seen. I mean, she's still moody and things like that, but she hasn't broke anything on me in a long time. I mean, not purposely. I mean, accidentally. I mean, there's a time we got shot.
And
The times we got shot, and then there was a
Moody doesn't
asteroid
evil.
that she skipped me off. Anyways.
She was just the only one gone from the group for a while, so.
I'm pretty sure I'd know if Corell had slipped to the dark side. At least I'm pretty confident I would. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but no. This is just poodoo. No, Corell hasn't. No, Corell's not our spy.
I mean, if she was the spy, then why would she have the bad guy ask us to turn her into him? Why wouldn't she just go there and say, hey, you're now my prisoners, or whatever they do?
Okay, A1, you don't want to ask me to use my imagination like that because I have a really overactive imagination. I was trained by Spynet to consider all of the possibilities. I can see that happening in my mind, but not realistically. Like, there is a difference between those things.
Yeah, I don't know. It can't be possible. I refuse to believe that. It can't be Corell.
Well, I don't think it's anybody actually on the ship.
Did you say Sven earlier? What about Sven? What about that Lothcat thing?
Okay, there are a couple of things. There's no way Sven could be a Claudite, unless they were a very small Claudite that changed into a Lothcat. Sven could be the result of various genetic experiments, and be smarter than the average Lothcat. But it would be highly unlikely. We found him in a dumpster, right?
Yep, basically.
That someone could have put him in there for us to find. Knowing that Zahn was a really soft-hearted person, you know? Rith warned me about this. Rith warned me about getting paranoid. This is something that can very easily happen. I guess we just have to trust each other.
I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing this whole time. So, maybe it was Sven. I never really liked the cat anyway. So, maybe my instincts were right.
maybe we should ask D4 if they could genetically modify a cat to be smart enough to be a spy.
Well, but that also doesn't say why he knew we were at Fallujah, because Sven left us. Well, Sven was parted from us on Tula.
Right. That's a good point. What'd Corell say?
About the spy?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe she said it had to do with the Laku.
That's what I said. Because she said that to me.
What, do you think a Force user can, like, track a piece of themselves through the Force?
She thought that was possible.
That is unsettling.
It's a bit gross.
Maybe we should have Corell learn how to do that.
I don't know if we have
No,
time.
I don't think Corell, like, cutting off pieces of herself to...
No, she could just cut off her fingernails because they keep growing and leave little pieces of her fingernails everywhere. And then she could spy on everybody.
I don't know if it works that way.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it has to be, like, a big enough piece.
I don't know.
Maybe grow out one fingernail really long.
Or toenails. I mean, you've got 20 options.
I mean,
Have you seen Corell's toenails before?
no.
I mean, it's almost lightsaber level.
I would have to assume that they're very clean, like Corell is.
Oh no, they're clean. They're just, they're very, very sharp.
Why are you staring at Corell's feet?
I wasn't staring. I just happened to be present. When Corell was doing some exercise in the cargo bay sometime. I mean, if you think carbon scoring is bad, you should see what her toenails can do to a cargo container.
I think maybe we should ask Corell if this is a good plan.
Unsettling.
No, think about it. Quinth, you could be the greatest member of Spynet. If we could teach Corell to do this, we leave little clippings of her nails all over the place. Then she tells you everything and you feed the information to the right people. Then her identity's covered and you get the credit and you get to be the best member of Spynet.
They wouldn't let me become the Grand Spy if I only had a Jedi for an informant. Spynet is technically neutral.
We could just say a Marshal. A Marshal could just be one of the top people in Spynet.
They wouldn't let me become a Marshal if all I had was a Jedi informant. Spynet is technically neutral, and they do like to have a variety of sources because they know any single source is inevitably going to be biased.
See, that's the brilliance of my plan. You don't tell anybody it's just a Jedi. You have several sources out there. We can work on it later. The chair's almost done.
I'm not going to lie to climb the ladder in Spynet.
Isn't that what spies do?
Not to each other.
Is it really lying if you just don't explain what your source is?
We withhold information sometimes if it's going to potentially hurt other people. But this is not a productive conversation. I feel like you don't know enough about Spynet. And I don't think Corell can see things through her toenails anyway.
At this point, Corell is standing in the doorway looking at the 50 tools lying around the floor, and her eyes are just like wide, and then she blinks at Quinth. Okay, this is possibly the weirdest conversation I have ever walked in on, and I lived with Ko and Tazi and A1 for 2 years. This is, toenail thing aside, which is I'm just gonna let that go. That I'm gonna pretend that never happened. Who pulled all my tools out, and why are they scattered all over the floor? And why are you taking that chair apart? It's working perfectly.
Well, yeah, because A1 fixed it.
It was working perfectly 10 minutes ago.
No, we just made it better.
And you needed 14 spanners, 3 wrenches, 12 hammers. I didn't even know I owned 12 hammers. But they're all here now. Why are they all here?
Because Quinth wanted to learn about tools.
Get your own carking tools.
No. Hey, this is my fault. I asked Quinth to go to the engineering bay to grab some tools that we might need to fix this chair.
Why would you do that? She doesn't know anything about tools.
That's why there's a bunch of tools here.
I mean, I was trying to help A1, and it was just kind of like Quinth needed something to do. She looked like she was wanting to help. I thought that would be a good thing, so that was my fault. If you want to get mad, yell at me. It's fine. I will help you reorganize your tools if you would like. I apologize.
No. I will put them back. You sort them in some weird Derosian way that I still haven't been able to figure out.
It's the Ketrick system. It's not that hard to understand.
I thought it was the Derosian decimal system.
Both of you, just go back to talking about my feet or whatever weird thing you were doing, and I'm going to take this, and she's like yanking the tools out of your hands.
It was...
And I'm going to go put these away in the manner in which they should be stored. Gah, carking amateurs. Why the heck? I can't believe... Do you believe this, A1? She's talking to the ceiling as she walks down the hall.
Yep.
As you say that, Droid A1 rolls up in front of Corel, stops. Question for you.
What?
You haven't gone to the dark side, have you?
No. Why would I do that?
Just checking. And he rolls out of Corel's way.
I mean, technically, if I was, I probably would have killed everyone here, or at least whoever grabbed my tools and didn't put them back correctly.
We weren't done.
But I didn't.
I was going to put them
so
back.
obviously, everything is... You literally need 2 bit drivers and a 12mm spanner to fix that chair. Hammers! Why would you need...
Why are you yelling at me?
She puts her hand to her forehead and just walks down the hall.
Okay, good. That usually works.
A1 looks at Tazi. Oh, I thought she really was crying. Oops.
No, that's the whole spy training thing.
No one actually thought she was crying, A1. It was really bad.
I fell for it.
I mean, good job.
Thank you.
When I cry, Corel doesn't really seem to care that much.
It helps if you're actually experiencing big emotions and can just funnel them.
What are you trying to say? I don't?
I actually don't know. Do you? I mean, I don't think you experience the kind of big emotions I'm experiencing right now regularly. At least I hope you don't.
I mean...
Wait. I don't think this is a moment we should be comparing traumas.
Yeah, I don't think...
That's fair.
Grief is never a competition.
Yeah.
But everybody loses, let's put it that way.
Yeah. So, who wants to go get something to eat?
Yes.
Sure. I could always go for...
A1 rolls forward into the common room. So, I think there's Tink shells over here.
On that shelf literally marked Tazi?
Well, that's convenient.
Well, this is where...
Where's the one marked A1?
It's where I used to keep the booze. So, I mean, that makes sense. I'm sure Corel didn't have a whole lot of use for this shelf otherwise.
Yeah, probably not.
And Tazi reaches up to try and pull the shelf, like the shelf surface down. It's like a flip down cover to the shelf, and then that cover also acts as like a little bar area.
Oh, that's cool.
And he tries to pull that piece down, and it's like just locked in place.
What is the Criff? What the Criff is going? Why it won't? There were kids on the ship. That's right. Ship A1.
Yes.
Can you release the lock on this shelf?
Yes, I can.
Dang it! I wanted to pick the lock.
Tazi waits a minute and then tries to pull the shelf down.
Tee.
Oh, very, very funny, Ship A1. Very Quinth, can you help?
Yeah, Quinth will roll up her sleeves.
The lock clicks open.
There it is. And she will lower the shelf to become sort of the bar. Otherwise, I was going to have to shoot it open.
I haven't seen somebody use that technique in a long time. Usually people just slice into these locks. That was interesting.
Well, it's always better if you can leave no trace, you know?
No, for sure. Well, there's some inexpensive liquor and some tincture shells, so I'm all set. Anybody else need anything?
Quinth, what would you like?
Well, alcohol will dull my reflexes. Although we have enough time that it might not matter.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time left, and we're not going to be there for probably at least another hour and a half.
Quinth will take the second bottle of bad booze off of the shelf.
Okay.
Hey, Corel, we're eating tincture shells and drinking. If you want to come, hang out.
She walks through the door like half a second after you start talking, holding up like a data pad, and there's a blinking light on it. It's like, yeah, I know. You guys just could have asked me to unlock it. You didn't have to break into it.
Well, I asked Ship A1, and Ship A1 said they would, or said, sorry, Ship A once said they could unlock it, but then did not.
Did you ask him if he would?
I did not.
That's on you then. Now, which one of you amateurs picked the lock without checking to see if it was trapped?
I knew it was trapped.
Uh-huh. Then why didn't you disarm it?
Why bother? You would have walked in here at some point and seen that it was empty.
Because what if it had been a poison gas trap?
Well, I knew it wasn't a poison gas trap.
See, we had a game that our friend Isla taught us where we had to actually go through and check for traps on these sorts of things because they could be fatal. You need to up your game a bit. Didn't they teach you this in Spynet?
Why would you put a fatal trap on the shelf marked Tazi when you thought Tazi might come back?
Well, I knew if Tazi would come back, he'd just ask to have it opened.
Well, it's open now.
If anybody wants poison gas, just give me an underdone bantha steak. We'll be fine.
Ew.
Tee.
Thanks. I'll be here for the next hour and a half. Keep drinking. The jokes get better.
Redemption is played using the Star Wars role-playing system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. You can follow the crew on Twitter at RedemptionPod and Instagram at RedemptionPodcast, or check out our website at redemptionpodcast.com. If you're enjoying our adventures, please leave a 5-star review for us in iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or your podcatcher of choice. Support the show by becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/redemption. Patreons get outtakes, help create NPCs for us, and get to play with us on occasion as well. Thank you for listening.